Okay, so today we're going to talk about technology tools for using in the area of math. So let us begin. So obviously there's going to be children in your classroom who are struggling in the area of math, and particularly when you're dealing with students with disabilities, you might need to consider assistive technology. And so what does it do for children with disabilities? Well, certainly it can provide for extended practice in areas, repetition, direct instruction. You can customize the work. It may provide, depending on the software you're using, immediate feedback, and it's motivating. Features of technology-based learning include that you can simplify the screens and instructions for children. There's consistent placement of menus and control features, so you can standardize it, make it so that the child really learns where everything is and that it's in the same place every time the child opens the technology. There's graphics along with the text to support children who struggle with reading. There may be audio feedback. You can build in accessibility features, or you can make it accessible. There's ability to set the pace of the learning and the level of difficulties for the child. And there's appropriate and unambiguous feedback. And sometimes there's also easy error correction built in. You need to obviously pay attention to the software you're selecting for the child, so that you also need to be going through all of the software and understanding the implications of computer-based learning activity features. Select the features that are best suited, obviously, to the child, and employ a user-centered approach, and engage in a trial period. Again, a lot of this software you can use for 30 days and see if it's good for your classroom and for the children you serve. You want to obviously focus on fluency and automaticity. Obviously, if a child is struggling, they're not fluent, so you want to select software that aids in fluency. Visual-Spatial organization is an area in math, certainly math concepts and word problems. So in the area of automaticity and fluency, you want to make sure that there's a lot of repetition so that the child can show that they can do these problems fast, quickly, accurately, effortlessly. But they're also learning, they're processing the content, right? And it's crucial, we know this, for developing computational fluency and understanding higher order mathematics. So they can't move on, essentially, until they really have this down. And so what are some tools? There's obviously low-tech to high-tech. Certainly we use calculators, there's talking calculators, there's apps, tons of apps, and things where we can use old-fashioned or low-tech multiplication tables, but we can also use high-tech as well. So you're going to select the best for your student. It doesn't matter if it's not high-tech. For Visual-Spatial, these are our children that have difficulties with motor control as well, and so they might have difficulty in writing the numbers needed in math, aligning, which is obviously incredibly important, and creating visual representation. So what do we do? Again, we have low-tech and high-tech solutions. We have grid paper, which works very well for some children. We have actual touch screen type input devices that will help the child, and apps as well. Again, we're looking at these apps to make sure that they're appropriate for the child. And for children who don't have a high level of motor problems or physical disabilities, we may need to add some accessibility features as well. For math concept skills and problem solving, to be successful, it requires, again, that automaticity, the fluency, and understanding math, the conceptual understanding of math. So solutions for difficulties in math concept skills and problem solving, obviously there's a ton of manipulatives, and selecting manipulatives that are motivating to the child. And there's a plethora of resources available on the web. Apps for math concept skills and problem solving. So I'm not familiar with this, but I certainly would want to take a look at the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives. Illuminations, I am familiar with. Internet for classrooms, and virtual laboratories in probability and statistics. So I guess the takeaway from this is there's a lot of research you can do. Certainly, I would stick to the reputable companies, and you should be able to find some really good material. So clicker 7 keeps coming up over and over again in our textbook. That's something then to look at. Geometers and Sketchpad app for authoring software. So these are all good things to look at. The benefits of math software include are many, but essentially we're working to improve math skills of students. And then for children who don't have physical disabilities or who have great motor problems, so that's really the benefit as well. Careful selection obviously is key, and authoring apps allow for customized, again, so that's important too, so that we might need to customize what we're using for the particular child. And that takes us through the area of math.